He never knew that one night could destroy everything he had built: a mansion, a company, and the illusion of a perfect life. Blood dripped from the edge of the silver golf club, mixing with the broken glass on the floor. The woman he once swore to love lay crumpled, her hands trembling as they shielded the small swell of her stomach. "Why, Daniel," she whispered, her voice barely audible through the ringing in her ears. But Daniel didn't answer. His face, once handsome and adored on magazine covers, was twisted with rage and guilt he refused to admit. And upstairs, behind the cracked door, a little girl watched in silent horror. What none of them knew was that this night, this single act of cruelty, would trigger a revenge so powerful it would shake the city's most powerful families to their knees. It began 5 years earlier, when Daniel Lewis was still the golden boy of the corporate world, young, wealthy, and dangerously charming. Everyone admired him, especially Maya, the soft-spoken daughter of a retired CEO known for his integrity and empire of compassion-driven businesses. Maya never sought wealth; she wanted love, stability, and someone who would look at her like she was enough. Daniel was that man, or so she believed. Their wedding was a fairy tale, graced by media and high society. Cameras captured their kisses, not the quiet nervousness in Maya's eyes or the possessive grip of Daniel's hand. For the first year, things were beautiful. Daniel took her to Paris, whispered dreams into her hair, promised they'd start a family when his company, DL Holdings, hit its next milestone. But behind the glittering smiles and press photos, Daniel had a secret: a mistress named Vanessa. She was the kind of woman who knew how to play weakness as strength, how to make Daniel feel like a god in a world where everyone bowed to his power. When Maya discovered the affair, she didn't scream or leave. She tried to forgive. She told herself people make mistakes, that love meant enduring storms, but Vanessa wanted more than love. She wanted Maya gone. And she knew exactly how to push Daniel's ego until it turned into violence. It started with words, subtle ones: "She doesn't understand your world, Daniel. She's holding you back. She's too plain for someone like you." Each whisper planted seeds of resentment. Maya became an inconvenience, a weight. And the night she told Daniel she was pregnant, instead of joy, his eyes flickered with fear and disgust. He had promised Vanessa he would leave Maya soon. But now a child complicated everything. The company's image, the investors, the tabloids: a baby meant responsibility, permanence. That night, as rain lashed against the windows of their mansion, Maya tried to tell him she could sense his distance. "We can fix this," she said softly, reaching for his hand. "We used to be happy, Daniel." But he snapped. Words turned into shouts. Shouts turned into accusations. And when she refused to back down, the golf club that hung decoratively in his study became the weapon that changed their lives forever. He didn't stop until he saw blood. Then silence. Maya was rushed to the hospital, unconscious. The doctors said it was a miracle that both she and the baby survived. When she woke, her father, Richard Anderson, the retired CEO with the calm eyes of a man who'd built empires, was sitting beside her. But his calmness was gone. "He did this to you?" he asked. She couldn't answer through the tears. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "Rest, my daughter. I'll take care of this." Days later, the headlines exploded. CEO's domestic violence scandal rocks corporate world. Daniel denied everything, claiming Maya was unstable, that she attacked him first. He had powerful lawyers, connections, and money, everything to make the world believe his lies. But Richard had something far stronger: patience, power, and truth. The first wave of his revenge was quiet. Investors began to withdraw from DL Holdings. Anonymous reports surfaced about Daniel's shady deals. His mistress Vanessa, once his closest ally, suddenly found herself under investigation for embezzlement. Within months, Daniel's reputation crumbled. But Richard didn't stop there. He wanted Daniel to feel what Maya had felt: helplessness, loss, isolation. Daniel's company was bought out by a rival firm, secretly funded by Richard's private investment group. His mansion went into foreclosure. Vanessa abandoned him the moment his accounts froze. Desperate, Daniel tried to confront Maya, now living safely with her father. But when he saw her again, holding their newborn son, something inside him cracked. The boy had his eyes. Maya looked up, her expression no longer soft or forgiving. You lost everything because you forgot what love meant, she said quietly 4 months after Daniel disappeared from the public eye. Rumors spread that he'd fled the country, but the truth was far darker. He was living in a small apartment on the edge of the city, alone, jobless, haunted by what he'd done. 2 years later, the Anderson Foundation launched a new initiative for women surviving domestic abuse, led by none other than Maya herself. She spoke to thousands, not as a victim but as a survivor. Sometimes, she said in her speech, we break so we can rebuild stronger. Pain doesn't destroy you, it reveals who you truly are. And among the crowd that day, hidden in the back, Daniel watched her. Tears blurred his vision. He wasn't there for forgiveness, he knew he didn't deserve it. He only wanted to see that she'd found the happiness he stole. As the crowd erupted in applause, Maya's eyes briefly lifted and locked with his. For a fleeting moment, neither spoke. But in her silence, Daniel heard everything. I survived, and you will live with this forever. Outside, as Daniel walked away, the weight of his past pressed harder than ever. Richard Anderson stood waiting by his car, his gaze cold but composed. You destroyed the best part of you when you raced that club, he said. Now live every day knowing the woman you tried to break built an empire from the ashes you left. That night, Daniel looked at his reflection, the hollow eyes, the trembling hands. He whispered to the darkness, I wish I could undo it all. But life doesn't offer rewinds, only lessons carved into the scars we create. Maya's foundation flourished, saving countless lives. Her story became a beacon for women trapped in silence. And though her past was marked with pain, her future was built on strength. Daniel's name faded from headlines, his empire forgotten. But somewhere in the quiet corners of the city, he lived as a reminder that no power, no wealth, no charm could ever erase the cost of cruelty, because in the end, love doesn't need revenge. It simply needs to rise higher than hate, higher than pain, and stronger than fear.